Hello guys, in this lecture we will be solving the graded assignment of week 1. Here comes the first question. What will be the values of A, B and C after execution of the following procedure using scores dataset? This is the scores dataset. Okay, now let us see the stepwise execution. Arrange all cards in a single pile called pile 1. We have to maintain 3 variables A and B and C with the initial values 0. If pile 1 is empty, only then we have to stop the iteration. Read the top card in file 1, which is by default. These are the key points. If mathematics score is less than 50, these are the individual scores of mathematics, physics and chemistry, but not the total score. A, B and C. If the value is less than 50, then we have to increment the respective variables. Great. So let's solve this. We have to increment A if mathematics is less than 50, B if physics is less than 50, chemistry is less than 50, then chemistry. Okay, great. For this question, we have to analyze each and every card of scores dataset. So upon verification of the scores dataset, then we will be having the value of A to be 2, B as 1 and C as 1. So the value for A is 2, B is equal to C is equal to 1. This is how the value, these are the final values, and this question must be done by accessing each and every card of the scores dataset provided to the student. Now coming to the second question, okay, which is question number 4. These are the sub questions of the given information. Question number 1 is having the answer of 2. Question number 2 has an answer of 1. 3 to be the answer is 1. Question number 4. What will the variable be represent after execution of the following procedure on words dataset? And this is based on the dataset called words. Here we have to use the words dataset, which is not scores dataset, which is given to access in the question number 1. These are two different datasets. So let us see the stepwise execution. Arrange all cards in a single pile called pile 1, and these are the important points of this question. We have to maintain only two variables with the initial values to be 0 and 0. Read the top card, and all of these are very basic questions, basic steps. And the main step starts from step number 5. If the part of speech is verb, we have to increment the value of A. That is, if we come over, and this will be done only if we get a verb in our stepwise reading of the word dataset, and we have to execute this step only if the picked up card is having the part of speech as verb. This is clearly mentioned in step number 5. So this is an important step. And the second important step is that if the word does not end with a full stop, then execute step number 9. What is the meaning of this sentence? Word does not end with a full stop. That means the picked up word is not at the end of sentence. If it is not at the end of sentence, then we have to stop executing this and start from executing step number 9. So let us go to step number 9 after 7 and 8 are done. What if the part of speech you having verb is at the end of sentence? That is shown in step number 7. If the word ends with full stop and A is greater than 1. A is greater than 1. and only then we have to increment the value of b. B will be is equal to b plus 1 only if a is greater than 1, right? So this is another important statement to be kept in mind. Ends with a full stop. A is greater than 1, only then we have to increment the value of b. And after incrementing the value of b, we have to reset the variable a to 0, because once the sentence ends, we cannot have the same value uh, of the next sentence. So for a new sentence, there will be the value of a to be 0, right? So these are the important points of this question number 4. Great. So let us understand, or let us make a conclusion from the given question. They have asked us what will the variable be represent after execution of the following procedure. This is the procedure, and let us find out a meaningful conclusion or the meaningful answer to this given question. And now we the exact explanation to this question is that variable a is incremented whenever a word in dataset has a part of speech labeled as verb. This is mentioned here. When a word does not end with a full stop, which is this question, this step called 6. The iteration continues without incrementing the value of any of the variables, which is a and b. None of them will be accessed if the step number 6 is not satisfied. If a word ends with a full stop and a is greater than 1, remember it is only greater than 1, but it is not greater than or is equal to 1. It should be only greater than 1, right? That means there are at least two verbs in a sentence. We will be incrementing the value of a from 0 to 2 if there are two verbs. 1 plus 1 is 2, right? In this case, variable b will be incremented twice. Sorry, variable a. And so if it is being incremented twice, means there are at least two verbs, right? A is greater than or is equal to 2. As there is an is equal to symbol here, we can conclude the answer to be total number of sentences with at least two verbs in it, right? Which is option number C. This is the answer. And now let's move on to question number 6. What will the variable x represent? What will x represent after execution of the on shopping bill dataset? Here the useful, the dataset that we are going to use is shopping bills. So the stepwise execution will be step 1, arrange all cards in single pile 1, and here there are 4 variables a, b, c and x. Initialize them with 0. All will be equal to 0 in the initial steps. Step number 3, if pile 1 is empty, then stop the iteration and start from step 9. Okay, this is somewhat matching to the above sum or the above problem. Read the top card in pile 1. All of these are very basic steps. Here shop name is SV Stores. Customer name is Suresh. Then set A equal to 1. If you observe here, we are setting A, B and C to 1, but we are not incrementing them. We are not incrementing, but we are only setting them to 1. This is what an important point to be observed here. Also, what we need to observe is that the customer name or the student name is always Suresh, right? It is always Suresh. Move the current card to another pile, call pile 2 and repeat from step 3. This is an iterative process. Yes, and update the value of x to b. X is equal to a plus b plus c. And what are we being asked here? What will variable x represent after the execution of following procedure, right? Say for example, Suresh had 2 bills in Big Bazaar and Sun General. As we are not incrementing A, we are setting B and C to be 1. So both B and C are 1. That means X will be A is 0, B is 1, C is 1. X is equal to 2 here. What are the matching options that are similar to the value of X here? Number of distinct stores Suresh has visited. Yes, he has visited Sun General and Big Bazaar. This can be kept as a selection. Number of distinct stores Suresh has never visited. See here the value is 2, but Suresh did not visit only SV stores. Hence this is a wrong option. Number of times Suresh has visited Sun General. Yeah, if we observe here, this is always 1. So irrespective of Sun General, this is another wrong option. Number of bills in the dataset that belong to Suresh. The option D is the wrong answer because if we had the option to increment the variables, then we can tell that the number of bills in the dataset belong to Suresh. For example, think that Suresh visited Sun General twice, Big Bazaar thrice. So the total number of bills should be 5, right? But here we are only setting them to 1. So this is also a wrong option. Hence the right option is number of distinct stores Suresh has visited. Hence the question number 6 is of option A. Now let's take question number 8 into consideration. Here we are going to use the library dataset. At the end of execution, count stores the number of books written by Shakespeare and published in Morningstar publications. So here the important point to be noted is Shakespeare is the author and the publishers are Morningstar. These both are mandatory. That means it should be an AND operator. An AND operator will give you a true only if both are true. And an AND operator will give you a false if either of them are false. T and F, F and T, and F and F. Right. So the suitable operator that has to be used in between these two variables is AND operator, but here it is OR operator. So straight away, without observing the question completely, we can think of step number 5 as having wrong operator. So we have to mark down step number 5 immediately, because all these three are up to here, everything is very basic step which we observed in every question done so far. And if you observe, maintain a variable count and initialize to 1. We do not know whether Shakespeare books have been published in Morningstar. This should have been 0, but it is 1. Therefore step number 2 is also wrong. Right, so A and C are the wrong options that we observed so far. Move the current card to another pile called pile 2 and repeat from step 3. Okay, so A and C are right. I mean, these are the mistakes at step number 2 and 5 respectively. And now coming to the question number 9, it is the matching of data types with the field names. Names of students in the scores dataset. Names means it is a sequence of character. So name would be a string. Here it is 3. One is with 3. Gender of players in the Olympics dataset. Here the gender is male and female. which are coded to be M and F. M and F are unique characters, so they are considered to be character data type. Page count of books in library. If we observe page count, which are total number of pages, hence they are integers. City of student in the scores dataset. City, say for example, city is Pune. Pune is a sequence of characters P, U, N and E. So Pune is also a character. Not character, it is a string. And now coming to another year in a library dataset. Year means, so let us consider this year only 2023, which is an integer. So let us check for the suitable option 3, 4, 1, 3 and 1. Yes, option number C is absolutely right here. 3, 4, 1, 3 and 1. So the right option would be option number C. Question number 10. We have to find the suitable steps here in order to make the algorithm or the pseudocode or the procedure to have a useful meaning or the correct meaning. The following procedure is executed using Olympics dataset. At the end of execution, count stores the number of Indian players who have secured a gold medal. So the important points to be noted down are Olympics dataset. Olympics dataset is being used here, and count will be storing the number of Indian players. Indian and gold. These are the two things to be noted here. Identify all such wrong steps. Identify all correct steps that have to be placed here. Arrange all cards. Fine, these are basic steps. Count is initialized to 0. Wonderful. And step number 3. If pile 1 is empty, move to pile 2. Okay, if host country is Indian. Host country is not in Indian because host country is the country that hosts the competition. Here we need to have the nationality of Indian player of the player to be an Indian. So this is definitely a wrong answer. Step 3, if pile 1 is empty, then stop the iteration. Great. If nationality is Indian or medal is gold. Great. Or medal, if we observe here, it is or. An or operator will give you a true if either of them is a true. T or T, T or F and F or T. But here in the question, they have given us that number of Indian players who have won a gold medal. Right. So both these conditions are very important and they play a major role in the final answer, which is Indian should be the satisfying and gold medal should be satisfying. So there should not be an or operator here, it should be an and operator. If pile 1 is empty, then move to pile 2. Okay, if nationality, again the same, it is an or operator here, it should have been an and operator. And the most common mistake that we have observed so far is, if pile 1 is empty, move to pile 2. Okay, if pile 1 is empty, then stop the iteration. If pile 1 is empty, move to pile 2. When are we going to pile number 2? Only if we have got, only if we have read the previous card. Then we will be keeping the previous card into pile number 2. Without moving into the pile number 2, we cannot have the pile number 1 to be empty. So here in this question and in this question, these are very great because this pile number 1 is empty. That means we are keeping the card to pile 2. But we are accessing pile 2 at step number 6. Hence this cannot be predefined. So steps A and C and step number 3 are having mistake in the very beginning procedure. I mean very beginning statement. And now let's see the option number D. If pile 1 is empty, then stop the iteration. If nationality is Indian and this grade and medal is gold, then increment the gold. Hence D is the right option. And E is not the right option because again it's host country. And we need the nationality but not host country. Therefore E is the wrong option. The only answer is D. And grade, this is how the GA of week number 1 is given at CT subject. In total there are 10 questions and all the questions are easy to solve. Okay guys, I think you understood the CT assignment. With this the session is being ended. Thank you and have a nice